Welcome friends. In this video we are going to look at mathematics paper 1 for the year 2020, and this paper was written by the internal. So let's look at the first question. So we have this question: simplify 2 open brackets x plus 3 minus 3x open brackets x minus 2. So here our first step is we need to get rid of the brackets. So we are going to multiply the number outside the bracket multiply by everything inside. So these two multiply with x. So we know that 2 times x will give us 2x, plus then the second one 2 times 3 will give us positive 6. Then we'll move on to negative 3x. So negative 3x times x, this will give us negative 3x squared. Now negative 3 times negative 2, so the sign will change to positive. 3 times 2, this will give us 6x. Then we can see that these two are like terms, so we can collect the like terms. So we have negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 6x, then plus 6. So negative 3x squared, so these two can be added. This will give us 8x plus 6. So this is our solution. So let's move on to question 2, evaluate. So we want first to find the cube root of 27. Then we raise that cube root to the power 2. So the cube root is the number that we can multiply by the number 3 times to give us 27. So if we try 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. Then 2 times 2 times 2 is we have 8. 3 times 3, 9 times 3 is 27. So the cube root of 27 is just 3, then squared. Then 3 multiplied by 3 will give us our final answer is just 9. Now we'll move on to question 3. So here we are supposed to factorize completely 16x squared minus 100. So first begin by factorizing the greatest common factor. So the number that can go into 16 and 100 without leaving a remainder. So we know that 4 is common, so we have 4, we take out 4, then we divide. 4 into 16 will give us 4x squared minus 4 into 100 will give us 25. Then we can see that we still have some steps to undertake here, because every expression inside the bracket can be broken to its perfect square. So say 4 is same as 2 squared. Then we have x squared minus 5 squared. Then after we are done this, we are going to use the difference of 2 squares. So we are going to open 2 pairs of brackets. Then here we put 2, also here we put 2, x plus minus 5 here. So this is now our final answer. So this is how we can factorize a problem like this completely. Okay, so now we move on to question 4. The points A and B are negative 5, 15 and 3w, w respectively, given that the midpoint of the straight line joining A and B is 10,5. 5, 10. Find the value of w. So let's look at these points. Let's look at what we have. So point A, we have point A, negative 5, 15. So this pair, this is our x1, y1. Then our B, 3w, w. So we have x2, y2. Then we also have the midpoint. So what's our midpoint? 5, 10. So here we want to use the given coordinates for the midpoint to find the missing value of the denoted by letter W. So we'll first begin by writing the formula for the midpoint. So midpoint is equal to, we need to find the average of the x coordinates, so we'll say x2 plus x1 over 2, comma, then y2 plus y1 over 2. Now, since we have the coordinates for midpoint, where there is a midpoint here, we are going to substitute with 5, 10. And remember, these are also coordinates. So this is our x value, then this is our y value. So this is equal to, so we'll see that our x2 is 3w plus our x1 is -5 according to our arrangement over 2. Y2 is w plus 15 over 2. Now, upon reaching here, we know that this first part here, this is the x coordinate, so this will go with the 5, then 10 will go with this pair. So what you do here is you say 5 is equal to 3w minus 5 over 2. So over 1 we cross multiply. So 1 times 3w is just 3w. 1 times -5 is still -5. 2 times 5 we get 10. Then we can collect the like term, so this will shift to this side. 3w is equal to 10 plus 5. So this will change to positive. 3w is equal to 10 plus 5. This will give us 15. Then we can solve for w. We'll divide by 3 here. 3 here. So now the w is 3 into 15. 3s into 15 is just 5. So this is the value of w. We can also find for the w. This time let's use the y. We've already calculated the value of w, but we can also find it using. So let's say 10 is equal to w plus 15 over 2. So over 1 we cross multiply. So 1w is w plus 1 times 15 will give us 15. 10 times 2 will give us 20. So if we collect the like term, if this 15 shift to this side, this will give us 20 minus 15. W is equal to 20 minus 15 is 5. So we can see that regardless of what we use, the answer is giving us the same. Or what we can do if we want, we can just get, in this case like this one, we can just get one pair, since we know that in each pair the w is there. So we can just say x2 plus x1 over 2 is equal to, from the pair of coordinates we can just get 5. So we can use this pair to find it, or if we want we can say w plus 15 over 2 is equal to 10. So all these two will give us the same final answer. So let's move on to question 5. The vector rs is equal to -4 and 3 in column vector. Given that r is a point -2, 1, find the components of point S. Find the component of point S. So for this point, for us to find the component of point S, we have the vector rs here. So how can we find the S? So we can subtract the r from this rs. So say S is equal to the components formed for vector rs is -4, then 3 here, minus, then we are going to have -2, 1 like this. Then we know that S is equal to, so we'll say -4 minus negative 2, then 3 minus 1, else is equal to, so here we have 4, negative times negative will give us positive 2, 3 minus, here we have 3 minus 1, can just maintain this for now. Then we know that here we have negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2, 3 minus 1 will just give us 2. So this is our final answer. Okay, so now we move on to question 6. So question 6, on the Venn diagram in the answer space below, shade set A complement intersection B union C. So here what it means is we want the A is, we want to shade the region where set A must be excluded since it has a complement. So for you to have a picture, what you would do is first try to make a Venn diagram where you are going to have the 3 sets, but this time you can just use any numbers to represent the elements. So say we have set A, then B, and our C. So say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now what we are going to do is let's first find the elements of A. So the element of A will be 1. We want the element from set A 1, 2, 4, 5. Then what else? We are going to find B union C. So we know that B union C, we are going to combine the set B and set C. So B union C will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, 6, 7. Now we can go back to this point. So the point is we want A. First, let's consider just intersection. We can ignore the complement for now. What is A intersecting B union C? So the point is we want the element of A intersecting with the element of B union C. So let's look at A. We know where A is. Then if we put a complement here, this means that the element of A including the intersection of B union C must not be part of the solution. So let's look at what elements are common in A and in B union C. So we'll say we can see that 4 is common, 5 is also common. So from this diagram that we've drawn here, we are going to ignore set A, including the intersection of A, B union C. So meaning, this means that we are going to, if we remove 1, 2, and 4, 5, we can see that the remaining part is just this. So this is the region that we want. So we are going to shade this is the region that we want. So that is one of the way that you can use to understand the picture. So the point is also just like this. We want to remove set A, including where it is intersecting. Okay, so now let's move on to question 7. Given that matrix M is equal to -3, -1, 4, 2, 0, -2, and N is equal to -2, 1, find M transpose. So let us first write our original matrix for M. So this is our original matrix. So -3, -1, 4, 2, 0. So transpose, if you are finding the transpose of a matrix, you just interchange. So this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3. So in this transpose of this matrix, the row 1 must become the first column. So this will be -3, -1. Row 2 will become our second column, 4, 2. Row 3 will become our third column, 0, -2. So this is our transpose for matrix M. And you know that even the order has changed. Now we move on to question B. We want M n as a single matrix. So we are going to find the product of the two matrices. So we'll write the original matrix. So this is -3, -1, 4, 2, 0, -2. Then we know that we are going to use the row by column. Okay, so n is equal to, so let's do the operation. So if we do row by column, this means that -3 will multiply with -2, -1 will multiply with 1. Then we need to do the same to the other rows. So we are going to follow the same pattern. So let's begin. So this is -3 times -2 plus -1 times 1. So since we only have one column in the second matrix, the other rows must be written below the first row. So we go to 4. 4 will multiply with -2 plus 2 will multiply with 1. Then we go to 0 times -2 plus -2 times 1. So -3 times -2 is +6 minus 1. 4 times -2 is -8 plus 2 times 1 is 2. 0 times -2 is 0 plus, since positive times negative will give us a negative, 2 times 1 is just 2. 6 minus 1 will give us 5. -8 plus 2 will give us -6. 0 minus 2 will give us -2. Okay, so now move on to question 8. So question 8, for the sequence 7, 11, 15, 19, find the 9th term. So we want to find the 9th term. So let's say here. So 7 is our first term, 11 our second term, 15 we have third term, 19 we have fourth term. Then this one will be our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. So we want to find the number on this position. So we can use the formula, or if we want, we can just first find the common difference. So common difference is given by this formula. D is equal to second term minus first term, or it can be third term minus second term. So let's say D is equal to second term is 11 minus 7. 11 minus 7 will give us 4. Or if we want, we can say 19 minus 15 will still give us 4. So this means that on each term 4 was added. So you know that 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 4 15, plus 4 19. 19 plus 4 will get 23, plus 4 27, plus 4 31, plus 4 35 plus 4, 39. So the ninth term is 39. Okay, so now what if we want to use the formula? So if we want to use the formula, this will be Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by common difference. So n is equal to 9 since we are solving for ninth term. A is our first number in our sequence, 7. Then D, the common difference, is 4. So let's do substitution. So we are solving for 9 here. A is 7. Then we have 9 minus 1. Common difference is 4. So 9 minus 1 will give us 8 times 4. So 8 times 2 will give us 16 plus 16, that is so 32. 32 plus 7, we still get 39. Then for B, we are solving for the sum of the first 16 terms. So the formula is sum is equal to this is n over 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by common difference. So we know that this time n is equal to 16 since we are solving for 16 terms. So here we have 16 over 2 times our first number in our sequence is 7. 16 minus 1, common difference is 4. We can reduce 2 into 16 will give us 8. 2 times 7 will give us 14 plus here we have 15 times 4. So we can keep our 8 for now. So this will be 14 plus 15 times 4 is 60. Then we have 80. 60 plus 14, this will give us 74. Now let's do multiplication. So we know that 8 times 4 give us 32. We carry the 3. Then 7 times 7 is 49 plus 7, 56. 56 plus the 3, this will give us 59. So the total number here is 592. So we move on to question 9a. The probability of Masamush failing an exam is 3 over 10. What is the probability that she will pass that particular examination? So probability, here we are going to do this. So this will be, we know that probability of, we say pass, plus probability of fail must be equal to 1. So the probability of passing is what we are solving for. So probability of pass plus probability of failing, we have it's 3 over 10 is equal to 1. Then we are going to collect the like terms. So 3 over 10 will shift to the right side. So this will be 1 minus 3 over 10 over 1. So we can find the lowest common denominator. This is just 10. 1 into 10 is 10 times 1. We have 10 minus 10 into 10 is 1 times 3. We have 3. 10 minus 3, we have 7 divided by 10. So this is our final answer. Then for questions like this where we only have 2 chances, the easiest way to know the probability, since the probability of failing is 3 over 10, what is the probability of passing? So if you have a question like this, you may even know the answer even before answering it. So the pattern is you just get the denominator, which is 10, subtract the 3, then you have the probability of the other one. So if we subtract 10 minus 3 will give us 7 over 10. So that is another way in which we can find the probability like this one. Now make sure whenever you're using this, make sure at least you are dealing with 2 outcomes. So now let's have a look at question B. A plan of a playboat is drawn to a scale of 1 to 20. If the actual area of the base of the boat is 0.64 meters squared, calculate its area on the map in square centimeters. So there are so many ways in which we can handle this question. But as for me, I first prefer look at the scale. So we will have the map, the scale on the map. Then also look at the actual. So 1 is on the map, then the actual is 20. So this means that if on the map is 20 centimeters, then the actual distance is 20 centimeters. I mean, if on the map is 1 centimeter, then the actual is 20 centimeters. Now, since we are dealing with area, we need to make this scale as our area. So what we are going to do is we are going to square this part. Also, we square this part. So this means that we have 1 centimeter multiplied by another 1 centimeter. Then here we have 20 centimeters times 20 centimeters. So 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter, we just get 1 centimeter squared. 20 times 20, this will give us 400 centimeters squared. So we have the scale in the area form. Now the question is calculate its area on the map in square centimeters. So what are we going to do? So let's look at the area given. So we have been given 0.64 meters squared. Now what I would like to do is first, before using this scale, I need to convert 0.64 meters into centimeters squared so that we can have a uniform pattern here. So we know that 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeter. So if we make this squared, also here we make it squared, we know that 1 meter times 1 meter will give us 1 meter squared. Then 100 times 100 will give us 10,000 centimeters squared. So this means that an area of 1 meter squared is equivalent to 10,000 centimeters squared. So this number 0.64 meters, I will write it here because it's so that we have meters on the same side. Then here we put x. Remember what I'm doing here, I want to convert 0.64 meters into centimeters squared. Then we'll go back to the scale. So 1 meter squared times x will give us 1 meter squared x. Then here we are going to multiply. Now how do we multiply numbers like this? So look at the number, we have 0.64. Now let's look at the zeros that we have from this number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the decimal will move to the right 4 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the decimal will be here. So here we have 0, here we have 0. So if we multiply 10,000 times 0.64, this will give us 6400, then centimeters squared, meters squared. We can divide by meters squared, also here meters squared. So x is equal to this cancel. We have 6400 centimeter squared. So this is not the answer. I know it may appear because we want the area on the map no, I've just converted 0.64 meters into centimeters squared. But now let's go back to the scale. So the scale is this one. So this distance, I mean the area is centimeters squared. So this will be written. So we should write it here. So we'll say 6400 centimeters squared here. Then here we put x, since we want to, this is like the actual, this is also the actual. That's the reason why these two I've put them on the same side. So since we have found it on the map, the question is if we want to find the area on the map. That's why this point here, I've put x because we are solving for the map, so we can cross multiply. So 400 centimeters squared times x will give us 400 centimeters squared x. Then this will give us 6400 centimeters squared. So over 400 centimeters squared, 400 centimeters squared. So from the right side, 1 centimeter squared will cancel with this. So now we can cancel the 0, we'll cancel the 0. 4 into 64 will give us 16 centimeters squared. So this is our final answer. So this means that the 0.64 meters squared with the scale of 1 to 20 on the map is equal to 16 centimeters squared. Now, why do they use, and what is the use of this concept? You can't draw, let's say if you are dealing with planning, like planning a house, you can't draw the actual area or position of the house on a paper. It can't fit. So you need to make the ratios that you think will fit on that plain paper. Okay, so now we can move on to question 10. Given that universal is equal to that, A is equal to that, B is equal to that, so want to find A intersecting B complement. So A intersecting B complement. So let's draw this Venn diagram here. So we only have two sets. So first, let's begin by finding the common elements, the intersection. So what elements are in set A? So set A has elements 6, 9, 12. Then B has 3, 6, 18. Okay. So from these we can see that we only have 6. So if we remove 6 from set A, we have 9, 12 here. Then here we are going to have 3, 18. Then if we remove 3, 6, 9, 12, then on the outside we are going to have 15. Okay, 15 only. So the point is we want A intersecting, A intersecting B complement. So the elements from B intersecting A must not be included. So we can just shade this. Then we'll write the remaining. So the remaining is the final answer here is A intersecting B complement is equal to 9, 12. Okay, so now we can move on to question B. Solve the equation 3x plus 3 is equal to 27 raised to the power 5. So for this, we know that we are solving the indices with a known power or index. So what is our first step? So our first step here, we can see that here we have the base is 3. So we need to have the same base here. So we need to break 27 into the same base as 3. So this is same as we know that 27 is same as 3 raised to the power 3. Then we have this 5 here. Then so the rules of indices, we can multiply these. So if we multiply, we are going to have, so it's 3 raised to the power 15. So 27 raised to the power 5 is same as 3 raised to the power 15. So you can see that we have the same base here, so we can cancel. Okay, so if we cancel, then the remaining is x plus 3 is equal to 15. If we collect the like terms, so this will give us 15. 3 will move to this side, so minus 3. Our x is equal to 12. So we move on to question 11. The diagram below shows two towns A and B on the equator. A is on longitude 35 degrees west and B is on longitude 40 degrees east. Okay, so find the time at A when it is 18 hours at B. So the B longitude has 18 hours. What is the time at A? So if you are dealing with time calculation, the first step is we need to find the difference in longitude. So the longitude for B is 40 degrees east, then for A is 35 degrees west. So since we have one from east and the other one from west, we are supposed to add 40 plus 35 will give us 75 degrees. So this is the difference in longitude. Now, how do we convert difference in longitude into hours? So we are supposed to divide by 15 degrees. So let's do this. So this means that 1 hour is equal to 15 degrees. So what this means is for the Earth to rotate on its axis, we know that the rotation of the Earth on its axis takes 24 hours, the one we refer to as 1 day. So for every 1 hour, 15 degrees is covered. So this is what it means. So we can put 75 here so that we can have the angles on the same side. Then we put x here. Since we are solving for hours, we cross multiply. So this is 15x with the degrees is equal to 75 degrees hour. Then we divide by 15, also here by 15. So that's why the easiest way, we just say whenever you are converting degrees into hours, you just divide by 15. So how many 15s are there in 75? So we have 5. So 75 degrees is equal to 5 hours. So this means that for it takes 5 hours for the Earth to rotate and cover the angle of 75 degrees. Now, how do we find if we are solving for the time on the left side, given the time on the right side? So whenever we are solving the time on the left side, we are supposed to subtract. So if we subtract 18 minus that 5 hours, so minus that 5 hours, definitely this will give us 13. So this means that at point A, the time is 13 hours. Okay, so now let's move on to question B. A plane flying from A to B takes 5 hours. Okay, we've calculated that 5 hours. Okay, find its speed. So we know that speed is equal to distance over time. Now from the data collected, we can see that we have the time is there, 5 hours, but distance we don't have. So let's find the distance. So we are going to find the distance in not comma. So distance is equal to theta times 60. So theta is the difference in, we're just going to find the difference in longitude. So the difference in longitude, we've calculated this before, is 75. So we have 75 times 60. So how do we multiply numbers like this? So let's just get, let's ignore the degree. So let's just get a 0 here. Then we'll multiply 6 times 5 is 30. So we write 0, we keep the 3. Then 6 times 7. So this is 6 times 6 is 36 plus another 6, that is 42. 42 plus the 3 is 45. So we have 4,500 knots. So I mean we are using the 4 knot commas. So let's now divide 5 into 45 will give us 9. So the final answer is 900 knots. Okay, so now we move on to question 12. So question 12, the functions f and g are defined by f of x is equal to 3x minus 2 and g of x is equal to 4x plus c1. Find f of inverse c. So first we'll begin by writing the original function for f. So f of x is equal to 3x minus 2. So step number 1, where there is f of x, you put y. Then step number 2, you make x the subject of the formula. Okay, so to make x the subject of formula, this first, let me write this as this. So 3x minus 2 is equal to y. There is nothing that I've done. I've just I want to begin with 3x minus 2. Then since 2 has no x here, we can move it to this side. So this will give us 3x is equal to y plus 2. Then from there we divide by 3. So we can see that x is equal to y plus 2 over 3. So now we can see that we have x as the subject of formula. So therefore, where there is x, we can put now this expression. Then we replace y with x plus 2 over 3. Then there is one thing that I want you to observe here. The original function has a negative sign in it, but the inverse has a positive. So make sure that the sign changes when you are finding an inverse of a given function. Now we move on to question B. Question B, we want the composite function. So C, we have f g of f of x is equal to, so the first function is g, open brackets. Then the inside function will be f of x. So this means that we want to combine these two functions to make it one. So for us to achieve that step, one function must go into another function. So which function is going to another function? So the function that is going to another function is the function of f of x, because it is the one inside the bracket. So the first step is we are supposed to write the function of g. So this is 4x plus 1. Now what this means is where there is x, we are going to substitute with this function here. So we'll say 4, not this function, but since we have this one, so this will be 3x minus 2 plus 1. Let's expand. 4 times 3x will give us 12x. 4 times negative 2 will give us negative 8 plus 1. Then our final answer is just negative 7. Then let's look at the other function. So the other function is g, f of negative 2. So let's say if we place x, this means that the inside number here represents, so x is equal to negative 2. So now, do we have this expression where we have g of f of x, we have it, this expression. So we are going to write 12x minus 7. Now, this, since the value is given, where there is x, we are going to put negative 2. So 12 times negative 2 will give us negative 24 minus 7. Same sign we add here, we are going to have negative 31 as our final answer. So we move on to question 13. So question 13 is dealing with approximation where we are likely to have error. So Chialwa estimated the length of a string as 15 centimeters. So this was an estimate. Now, if the true length of the string was 14.6 centimeters, find the absolute error. So the formula for the absolute error, given the true value and the estimated one, is so absolute error is equal to, so we are going to begin with the recorded value minus the true value. So the recorded value is 15 centimeters, or the estimated value is 15 centimeters minus true value is 14.6 centimeters. So let's do math. So 15, here we have 14.6, so here we put a point, here we put a 0. So we know that 0 minus 6 is impossible, so we take 1 from this. This will give us 10. 10 minus 6 will give us 4. Here we have 14 minus 14 will give us 0. So the absolute error was 0.4 centimeters. So this is how you can calculate the absolute error. Now let's look at the question B. Question B, we want the relative error. So the formula for relative error is equal to absolute error over true value. So what is our absolute error? We have it 0.4 centimeters over true value. True value is 14.6 centimeters. Then we can cancel the centimeters. So you can see that we have 0.4 on top, 14.6. So we can see that each number has one decimal place, so we can multiply by 10. We get rid of the decimal. So 0.4 times 10 will give us 4. Then 14.6 times 10 will give us 146. So let's see, let's divide it. Let's now make it a fraction. So 4 into 4 is 1. 4 into 14 is 3. Remainder, that is remainder 2. Then 4 into 26 will give us 6. So give us 6. Remainder 6. Then remainder 2. So this will be 1 over 36.5 according to my calculation. That's what I'm getting. Yes, so 0.5. Okay, so now we can move on to question 14. A point A 2,4 is mapped onto -3,5 by a translation T. Find the translation T. Okay, so the formula is translation vector plus the object is equal to the image. So translation T is what we are solving for, plus the object is this one. So we have it 2, 4, then is equal to the image was this one, -3, 5. So we can collect the like terms, so this will shift. So translation is equal to -3, 5 minus 2, 4. Translation vector will give us -3 minus 2, 5 minus 4. So what's our t? Negative 6 here, then 1. So our translation vector in coordinate form is negative 6, 1. So the picture is, if you are solving for the translation, you just have to find the difference between the coordinates of the object and that of an image. So that is the key point here. Okay, so now we can move on to B, integrate. So we are dealing with now differential, integration, integral part of calculus. So negative 3 minus 3 x to the power 4 plus 5. So this is an indefinite integral. So integrate. So say y is equal to, so what do? You add 1 to the power over the same, so 3 plus 1 over negative 3 plus 1. Here this will be negative 3x 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1. Then the 5, this will become 5x. So what happens to the constant is you just attach x to it, so become 5x, then plus the constants of differential. So this will give us, here we can see that we have negative 2 over negative 2, negative 3 over 4 plus 1 is 5x raised to the power 5 plus 5x plus c. Then we are going to take out the constant. So the constant is negative 1 over 2, then x to the power negative 2 minus 3 over 5 x to the power 5 plus 5x plus c. Then our final answer here, we need to move the x raised to the power negative 2 to the bottom. So this will be 2x squared minus 3 over 5x to the power 5 plus 5x plus c. So the concept here is, do not leave a variable with the negative index. So we move on to question 15. In the diagram below, the bearing of C from A is 160 degrees, angle ACB is 30, and AB equals AC. So what this means is, these two distances AB and AC are equal. Even this angle must equal to 30. So even here we are going to have 30. We are dealing with an isosceles triangle. So two base angles are equal. Then how can we find this angle here? So we can find this angle here by adding 30 plus 30 is 60. We subtract from 180. So this means that there is a 120 here. Okay, so if there is 120 here, what are we going to do? First, let's see, draw the vertical line on each letter. So this line, remember, these lines are parallel to each other. So we have the north here. So let's look at the first question. We want find angle BAC. So BAC, find the angle BAC. So the angle BAC, we found it already. This is 120. So the picture is like this. So the A is here, B is here, C is here. So what this angle BAC is this angle. This distance is equal to this distance. So if here we have angle 30, even here we are going to have angle 30. So if we put x here, we can solve for x plus 30 plus 30 is equal to 180. Then we know that these two will give us the sum of 60. So if we move 60 to the right side, it will give us 180 minus 60. Then x is equal to 120. So that is the angle here. So it's 120. Now, let's see what we can do. So if this 120 is the O angle, now if we draw this line here, we can find this angle here, because we know that now straight line is equal to or makes an angle of 180, and we only have this angle from here up to here, so 160. So this means that here there is 20. Since 180 minus 160, there is 20. Then this total angle is 120. So here there is only 100. Okay, now we are solving for the bearing of A from C. So this bearing is coming from C, so this is our line C. Then is going to A. So if this line C, where it is coming from, should be considered as a vertical line. So we need to move from this C in a clockwise direction. So move in this clockwise direction until this line touches the line here. Now let's look at the way these angles are. So we know that this angle is equal to this angle. So if we have 20 here, even here is 20. So this is now the bearing of A from C will be 360 minus 20. This will give us 340 degrees. So we move on to question 16a. The diagram below shows ABC in which ABC is equal to 90. BC is produced to D. Given that tan BAC is equal to 4/3, find the value of cos ACD. Cos ACD, this angle here. So how do we find the external angle of a given polygon? So first we need to find the interior, this angle. We'll find the cos of this angle. So let's go back to this information here. So we have tan BAC. Tan BAC is equal to 4/3. So from the three trig ratios, TOA has to do with tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So tan BS this means that 4 is the distance for opposite, 3 is the distance for adjacent. So let's go back to this. BAC, if our angle of consideration is here, so this is our opposite, then here we have adjacent, then here we have hypotenuse. So from these two distances, we can see that the 4 is on the distance AB, then 3 is on the distance BC. Now let's look at cos. We know that cos from the cos is cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So we want to find cos. In fact, I've made a mistake here. For this is not the angle of consideration. Okay, so the angle BS this is the angle of consideration. So if this tan is here, this is our opposite here. So the opposite is 4, then this is our adjacent, which is 3. Now, if we have these numbers, let's say we want to find this angle by using cos. So if we want to find this angle, if theta is here, then since we are solving for ACD, we want to find BCA, this angle here. Then this distance 3, instead of adjacent, the position of this number to be adjacent is when we are dealing with the tan. So if we are dealing with the C, this will be opposite, then adjacent, hypotenuse. Now from the cos, we can see that from the cos we need hypotenuse. So how can we deal with this kind of information? We know that if we have two distances, we can use the Pythagoras theorem to find the missing distance. So we have 3 here, then we have 4 here, then we want this. So this is according to Pythagoras theorem, we say this is our C, A, B. So the formula is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. So A squared is 3, B squared will be 4 squared, 3 squared is 9 plus C 16. Here we are going to have 25. We find the square root. The square root C is equal to 5. This means that here there is 5. So since we have the complete information, now we can find for cos B, C, A. So this will be, the adjacent is 4 over 5. Now the question is, what is cos A, C, D? So if you have the inner angle here, this angle we have it, how do we find the external one? So whenever you want to find the external one, you just introduce the negative. So cos ACD is equal to negative 4 over 5. So that's what you do. Then question B, calculate the radius of a semicircle whose area is 77 centimeters squared. Take pi to be 22 over 7. So we want to find the radius of a semicircle. Now let's first look at the circle. So we know that if this is our circle, the distance from the center up to the circumference, this is the radius. Now what is the area of the circle? So the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. Now whenever we want the same circle, this means that we just want half of this circle. So we can divide this area by 2. Now we know that the area of this semicircle we have been given is 7. So where there is A here, we can put 77 centimeters squared. Pi is given 22 over 7 times radius. Radius is what we are solving for. So r squared over these 2. This 2 is the one from the formula here. So what are we going to do to simplify these numbers? So we know that 2 here is 1, 2 here will give us 11. So this is 77 centimeters squared is equal to 11 over 7 times radius squared. So over 1 we cross multiply. So 11 times r squared is 11r squared. Now 77, I'll just leave it like this. So 77 centimeters squared times 7. Now what are we going to do? So what we are going to do is we are going to divide by 11, also here by 11. So my advice is, do not multiply these numbers. Don't say 7 times 7 is 49, you write 9, then you carry the what. No, just leave the numbers like this. They are going to multiply, to divide themselves. So here you can see that if we are to multiply, if we have 11 times 7, so 7 times 11, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 1 is 7. So there are 11 sevens. So this means that 11 into 11 is 1, 11 into 77 will give us 77. So 77 times 77, this will give us 49 centimeters squared. Then we introduce the square root, also the square root. So radius is equal to the square root of 49 is 7 centimeters. So this is our final answer. So we move on to question 17. So question 17, we are looking at a circle theorem. In the diagram, below P, Q, R, S, and T lie on the circle. TQ is equal to TR. PR and TS are parallel. Angle TQ is equal to 70 and angle TRP is equal to 20. Find angle RTQ. So let's look at where RTQ. So we want to find RTQ. This angle here is what we want to solve for. So let's first remove this triangle. So this is the way it is. So T is here. Then we have these indicating that these two distances are the same. Then we have R, we have Q here. Now we can see that here we have been given the Q is 70. Now since these two distances are equal, even here the angle will be 70. So this means that this angle is equal to 70. Now we know that we have been given 20 here, so this point will be a 50. Now how can we find this angle? We calculated something like this before. So it's x plus 70 plus 70 is equal to 180. So 70 plus 70 will give us 140. Then if we take 140 to the right side, this will be 180 minus 140. This will give us 40. So this means that there is a 40 here. So this is our RTQ. So it's 40 degrees. Then what of angle RST? RST. This angle here. What is this angle? So how can we find this angle? Now, the concept that we can use for this angle, there are two. In fact, we have so many ways, but if we look at this clearly, we are going to see that this angle, if we consider this angle x and this angle y, we can see that we have a cyclic quadrilateral. And you know that if we add x plus y must equal to 180. So since we are solving for x, y is 70 is equal to 180. So if we take 70 to the other side, it will be 180 minus 70. This means that here we have 110. So this means that here there is an angle of 110. Why? Because opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral adds up to 180. So our RST is 110 degrees. So that we know that 110 plus 70, we are getting that 180. Then TRS. TRS. This angle. We want this angle. So how can we find this angle? So let me see if I can draw these lines. So we'll see this is our TS with this arrow. So the arrow indicates that these two lines are parallel. Now, what concept can we use to find it? So whenever we have two lines that are parallel to each other, the concept is if this angle is x, also this angle is x, I mean y. These two angles adds up to 180. That's the point. So x plus y must also adds up to 180. So now we can see that the angle here, we have it, is 110. So if x is 110, what is y? So y represents a number that if we can add that number with 110, we'll be able to get 180. So this is 180 minus 110, we have 70. So now this means that the angle here, the whole angle here is 70. Now from 70, we have a 50. I mean, we have a 20, so we subtract. So this will give us a 50. So this is how we can answer this question here. So move on to question 18. Question 18a, a woman has 500 company shares with a nominal value of 70 kwacha each, which she bought at 30 kwacha each. How much did she pay for the shares? So this is just a direct question. The number of shares were 500, then 30. So we just multiply this. This nominal value has no use for this question. So the number of shares is 500. Then each share was bought at 30 kwacha, so multiply by 30. So how do you multiply numbers like this? So just get these zeros, we write them, so 0, 0, 0, then we multiply 5 by 3, give us 15. So this is our final answer. Then we move on to question B. P is the point 3, 1. Q is another point. So Q is another point such that the gradient of the line PQ is equal to, so Q is just x, y. Now the gradient is given for these two, so the gradient is negative half. Write down the equation. Write down the equation of PQ. Write down the equation of PQ. So from the equation, we have x1, y1. No need of even finding these values here. So we know that the formula for the equation is y minus y1 is equal to gradient x minus x1. So we have the point for P. So y minus y1 is 1. Gradient is negative 2. X1 is 3. So first I'm going to get rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by 2. So 2 times y will give us 2y. 2 times negative 1 will give us negative 2. 2 times negative half, this will cancel, giving us negative 1 x minus 3. So the reason why I got rid of the fraction, I want it to be as easy as possible, not to find the lowest common denominator. So let's now FOIL. Negative 1 times x will give us negative x. Negative 1 times negative 3 will give us positive 3. Then we can collect the like terms. So 2y is equal to negative x plus 3 plus 2. 2y is equal to negative x plus 5. This is our answer here. Now we move on to question 19. In the answer space below is an incomplete pseudocode for program for calculating the curved surface area of a cone. Curved surface area of a cone. Complete the pseudocode by filling in the blank spaces. First, let's look at this. So what is the formula for the area of a cone? Curved. So curved surface area of a cone is equal to pi r l. This can be pi rs or pi r l. So this means that pi is constant, is not an input. Then radius and l is our inputs. So say enter radius. So while there is enter, you put your input. Then here we'll say slant height. So slant height. Then surface area is equal to pi times L times times R times L. Then we have our answer. Now let's go back to question B. So the diagram below is a right triangular pyramid ABC, which with AB is equal to BC is equal to CA. So this means that the distance AB is equal to BC is equal to CA. Now what this means that the triangle, we are dealing with what we call an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle is a triangle with all three sides that are equal. Now what is the question? What is the order of rotational symmetry of the pyramid about OD? Now for questions like this, if you want to find the order of rotational, as long as you are dealing with a polygon or the base where the sides are equal, then the order of rotational symmetry is equal to the number of sides. So rotational symmetry is equal to 3. Why? Because the base of this pyramid has an equilateral, and equilateral has 3 sides that are equal. So the number of sides indicates the order of rotational symmetry. Then sometimes you may also encounter questions like you are asked to find the angle of rotation. So if you want to find the angle of rotation, is 360 divided by order of rotation. So 362 divided by 3 will give us 120. Now we move on to question 20. It is given that y varies directly as the cube root of x and inversely as the square of z. That y is equal to 2 when x is equal to 8, when z is equal to 4. Okay. So we know that y varies as the cube root. So cube root, this is the cube root symbol of x. Then and inversely as the square of z. So z will be squared. So let us write our equation. So this changes into equal sign. Immediately we introduce the equal sign, we need to put a k. Then we attach whatever that we have over. So the inverse should always be on the denominator part. So what's our y? So want to find k when y is 2. So while there is y, we put 2. K is what we are solving for. Then cube root x, what's our x is 8 over z is 4. So say 4 times 4. Then so what we can do also here, we just say over 1 we cross multiply. So 1 times k is k times what is the cube root of 8? The number that we can multiply by the same number 3 times to give us 8 is 2. Is equal to, here we have 2 times 4 times 4, we know that is 16. So 2, I'll just let it be here. I know that these 2 here will cancel with these 2 here. So k is equal to 16. Then for b, we want to find the equation connecting x, y, and z. So the equation, you know that the original equation is y is equal to k, the cube root x over z squared. So whenever you want the equation connecting these 3 variables, where there is y, do not put anything. So you only substitute where there is x. K. We know that the value of k is 16. Then cube root of x over z. because the key point is we want to have x in our expression, y and z. Now for C, we want to find the values of z, when now we have our new y value 12 and x 27. So let's do math. Okay, so what's our y? 12. K is 16. Then cube root of 27 over z squared over 1 we cross c, multiply. So 12 times z squared is 12 z squared. Then here we have 16. So 16 times the cube root of 27 is 3. So over 12 over 12. Now 12 is same as 4 times 3. I'm sure you see the reason why I've written like this, so that this 3 will cancel. Then 4 into 16, this is now simple. 4 into 16 is 4. Then we take the square root on each side. So z is equal to plus or minus 2. So move on to question. We have this question here. Then the question is, write 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. So we'll begin with, this is our inequality number 1, then we'll consider this number 2, then number 3. So inequality number 1, we can see that it is cutting the x-axis at 3. So say x 3. Then for this line, if we have a vertical line, the right side is greater, then this one is less. So you can see that the greater is shaded, so it's unwanted, so we want the less, so we put less. And remember, we are not going to put an equal sign since we have a dotted line. We can move on to to inequality number 2. Now inequality number 2, it is touching on 2 axes, so we need to find the coordinates. So the coordinates at this point here, in x-axis it's that number 0, so 6, 0, so say x1 y1. Then here it's 0, that number, which is 0, 3, so x2 y2. So let's find the gradient. So the slope is the difference between y2 and y1 over the difference between x2 and x1. So y2 is 3 minus 0 over x2, 0 minus 6. 3 minus 0 is just 3 over negative 6. Then we have negative half. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 6 is. So then the equation will be y minus y1 is equal to gradient x minus x1. So y1 is 0, negative half, x1 is 6. So for this question like this one, no need of getting rid of the fraction, since we know that 2 can go into 6 without giving us a remainder. So y minus 0 is just y. Negative half times x will give us negative half x. Then here this is same as negative half times negative 6. So we know that we are going to have a positive. Then what is half of 6 will give us a 3. Then if we go back to this inequality, the upper region is greater, the lower is less. So what the less, so say y less than or equal to negative half x plus 3. So we move on to inequality number 3. So we know that these coordinates are being shared on these two inequalities, so it's 0 comma that 3. So x1 y1, then here this will be 3 comma 0. So what's our gradient? So gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 0, y1 is 3, x2 is 3, x1 is 0. So 0 minus negative 3 will give us negative 3. Then 3 minus 0 is just 3. 3 into negative 3 is negative 1. Then we have this y minus y1 is equal to, okay, so y1 is 3, gradient negative 1, x1 is 0. So y minus 3 is equal to negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times negative 0 will give us positive 0 or just nothing. So we can now move this to the other side. So negative x plus 3. Then if we go back to this, we know that this region is less, the upper is greater, so we want the greater region. So the final answer is y greater than or equal to negative x plus 3. So we can now move on to question 22. So solve the equation 5x squared is equal to x. So this is a quadratic equation. So 5x squared is equal to x. So we need to make sure that after the equal sign on the right side there is 0. So we'll shift this x to this side. This will give us 5x squared minus x is equal to 0. So let's factorize by taking the common factor. So x is common. X into 5x squared will just give us 5x minus x into x is just 1 is equal to 0. So the first value of x is equal to 0. Then here we are going to have 5x minus 1 is equal to 0. If we shift this number to this side, we are going to have positive 1 over 5. So x is equal to 1 over 5. Okay, so now we can move on to question. The diagram below shows the sketch of the graph of y is equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 3, cutting the x-axis at A and B. Find the coordinates of A. So we only want for A. So we can use the two methods of our choice. We can use the quadratic formula or we can use factorization formula. So we are solving for one of the x-intercepts. So we know that our standard form will be like this. In the x-axis, y is 0. So we have A, B, C. Quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus c 4ac over 2a. So the value for negative b is just positive 2. So here we have 2 squared minus c 4. What's our a? Negative 1, 3 over, okay, should be negative 1. So negative times positive 1, positive 2 is negative 2, plus or minus the square root 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4 times 3 is 12 over negative 2. Then we can find the sum of 4 and 12 will give us 16 over negative 2. Then what is the square root of 16 is positive or negative 4 over negative 2. So x is equal to, we are going to separate, so negative 2 plus 4 over negative 2. Then the other one, x would be negative 2 minus 4 over negative 2. So here we are going to have 2 over negative 2. So x is equal to negative 1. Then the other x value would be negative 6 over negative 2. Then here we have 3. So we can see that we are going to have two pairs of coordinates. So the first one will be negative 1, 0, 3, 0. Now let's look at we want for a. So a is negative 1, 0 because it is located on the negative side of this graph. Now let's use the factorization. So we know that the original equation is negative x squared plus 2x, then plus 3 is equal to 0. So I'm supposed to find this sum, factors, and product, sum, factors. So the product is the value of a times c. So the value of a is negative 1 times 3 will give us 3. Sum is 2. Now, whenever we have the product of 3, the factors will always be 1 and 3. So the pattern here is, if you are dealing with a prime number, a number that has 2 factors, then 1 and the number itself, like 3 has 1 and 3. So even 1 and 3 are the factors that we need. Now, one of these 2 factors must have a negative. So since the sum is positive, then the negative must go with the smaller number. So now we can say negative x squared minus x plus 3x plus 3 is equal to 0. Make sure that if you are adding this, must add up to this. So you know that negative x plus 3x will give us positive 2x. So negative x squared, we can now factorize by grouping terms. So what is common here? Negative x into negative x squared is positive x. Negative x into negative x is positive 1. Then what is common here is 3. 3 into 3x is x. 3 into 3 is 1 is equal to 0. So we can see that we can factor this expression. Then we are going to have negative x plus 3 is equal to 0. Then we can equate each to 0. So if this shift, we get x is equal to negative 1. Negative x is equal to negative 3. Negative x is equal to positive 3. We can see that we're still getting the same values here. Then for Roman number 2, we want the maximum value of the graph. So the maximum value is, or can be calculated by y is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. So the maximum or minimum value is just calculated by using the formula for the y coordinate of the turning point. So from this equation, we know that our a is negative 1, our c is 3 minus 2 squared over 4 times negative 1. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 times 3. We get negative 12 minus 4 over negative 4. So negative 12, negative 4 is negative 16 over negative 4. We know that the negatives will cancel. 4 into 16 is 4. This is our maximum value. Now we move on to the last question. The diagram below is a graph of a moving object which decelerates uniformly at 8 meters per second from a speed of 52 meters to a v meters in 6 seconds. It then moves at a constant speed for 10 seconds and finally decelerates uniformly to come to rest in 4 seconds. So let's look at the first question. Calculate the speed v. So how can we find the speed v? We want this value here. Okay, so we can, since we have been given the deceleration, we use this one. So we say acceleration is equal to final minus initial over t. The acceleration is given this one, it's c8. So now when substituting this number into this formula, it has to be -8 since it's negative acceleration. Then our final velocity is, this is our final velocity. Then this is our initial velocity. So our final we don't have is just v minus the initial is 52 over the time taken from here up to here is just 6. So over 1 we cross multiply. So here we have v minus 52. Then 6 negative 6 times 6 is 36. 36 plus 12, that will give us 48. So if we collect the like terms, so it will be negative 48 plus 52. So what is 52 minus 48? We have 4. So this means that here we have 4, and it's making sense since 4 is less than 52. But if this is positive, we would have gotten 90, and we can't say 0 then 90 52. No. So this is what you do. So don't forget to put a negative given the deceleration. Now let's move on to question B, total distance traveled for the whole journey. So we'll say we have, there are so many ways in which you can find this, but let's consider the first one, this distance as our trapezium. So this, it is like this. So we know that from 0 up to here we have, this is 20 from here up to here because of this number here. So this is our B. Then our A is the distance from here up to here. So is 16. Then the height is this distance here, is 4. So the distance for this is half A plus B times H. Half, what's our A? 16 plus 20 times 4. So 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 4. So 20 plus 16 will give us 36. 36 times 2 will give us 72. So this is the distance for this shape. Now since we are solving for total distance, we need to find the distance here. Now we can see that here we are dealing with a right angled triangle. So it is like this. So this distance from here up to here, we'll get it from here. So it's 6. This is our base. Then the height is from here up to here. So since from 0 up to here we are 52. So 52 minus 4. This means that here there is 48. So distance for a right angle triangle is half BH. So distance is equal to half B is 6, 48. Then half of 6 is 3 times 48. Then 3 times 8 will give us 24, carry 2. 3 times 4, 12, plus 2, 14. So for this part here, we can see that we have 14. So our our total distance will be our total distance should have so our total distance should be 72 plus 144. Okay, so if we add 2 plus 4 is 6, 7 plus 4 is 11, so we have 216 as our total distance. Now let's look at the average for the whole journey. So average speed is equal to total distance, which is 216 over total time taken. What's our total time taken? Over 20. So let's reduce. 2 into 20 is 10. 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 16, so here we have 108. 2 into 10 will give us 5. 2 into 108 will give us 54. Then 5 into 54 is 10. Remainder 4 over 5 meters per second. So this is what I can share with you, friends. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.